Watch as this woman narrates how she called off her engagement and ghosted her fiance.
I called off my engagement and ghosted my fiance. I already feel emotional, but I want to share this because I want to help other women. First of all, 5 years ago, he and I dated and he ghosted me when I was traveling. So he seemed very, very genuine. And he just wanted to, try dating again. So I really liked him 5 years ago, so I gave it another try. So let's get into the red flags, because it ended up being a really, really, really bad situation that I had to leave immediately. So here were the red flags that I did not pay attention to. First of all, him ghosting me years ago. Major red flag. Second red flag. This is a big one. I know that I can't say this on the internet, so I'm just gonna say he sexually occulted me. Okay. He crossed some boundaries, okay? And yeah, he did that 2 times, okay? He did that twice. Both times I curled up in a ball crying. Anyway. Third red flag. If I asked questions about his ex specifically, he would get defensive. And I had like a gut feeling that there was something off there, so that's why I was even asking in the first place. And he would just not want to talk about it. And he would say it's because like he hated her and stuff, you know what I mean? So I tried to respect it. And then we got engaged, right? Worst proposal ever, by the way, but we got engaged. A week after we got engaged, I was getting some really weird gut feelings, right? And I was getting very, very suspicious. So I started asking him questions about, like, his ex again, because I'm like, something's suspicious here. And I was like, you know what? Can I call your friend that's mutual friends with his ex? And I just start asking questions, okay? I ask about the timeline of when him and his ex broke up. And this was the big thing that helped me piece things together. This guy says that they broke up in like April, and my ex reached out to me in April. Yeah, well, my ex had told me that he had been single and celibate for 7 months before he texted me. He texted me less than 24 hours after he broke up with his ex. So this opened a whole can of worms, okay? And I started freaking out. Like, I'm like, not okay. I lived with my parents, right? So I go wake up my parents, and I have all of us sit down on the couch, and I'm like, hey, this guy's been lying. Like, he's been lying the entire time. So he actually lied to my parents when he was asking for their blessing, okay? He was lying about finances, he was lying about his ex, he was lying about timelines, he was lying about sending, he didn't tell me that he was sending money to his ex through their mutual friend for rent after they broke up for months. Like, literally, the same month that he proposed to me, he was sending money to his ex. But he took full accountability. He showed up the next day, and he just sat me down, and he told me everything he's been lying about, okay? All at one time. He just came clean. And so he wanted to rebuild from that point. And I had just announced my proposal, like the engagement, to all my friends and family, right? So I was like, what am I supposed to do? Yeah, I was too embarrassed to leave him. So I decided to try to forgive him, right? Because he took accountability. He did all the things he was like supposed to. So I tried to forgive him. Well, let's talk about that experience, and then I'm going to tell you exactly why I ghosted him. There were lies, right? So for the following 8 months that we stayed together, I was just so angry. And when I say I had a mental health crisis, I mean a full-blown mental health crisis. I actually ended up getting pregnant, and I miscarried pretty early on. And then I started being made to believe that it was me who needed to work on my anger. And that's what happens when you stay with someone who screws you over to the point that you are traumatized, is they now can use your reactions as proof to you being the problem. So we stayed together, we tried to make it work. We go get a hotel room in Detroit. We end up getting in this fight because we went out that night, we had a couple drinks. Something made me uncomfortable that he did. So we got into this argument at the hotel room. That was the night. He ended up putting his hands on me, okay? I just want to say, I do think I'm still in shock from this because it wasn't that long ago. But basically, he fucked up my hand. I don't actually know if I can say this next part, but he stopped my breathing type of thing, okay? The thing that I thought of the next day, wasn't able to ignore, was the feeling of panic that I had. And I was like, hey, like, this thing that happened last night is kind of concerning me. And he was kind of just like, yeah, like, I'm never gonna do that again. Well, I decided to bring it up to my sister a week later. And this is the part that needs to be educational, okay? When I told my sister, she was like, I'm never gonna approve of you guys being together now. Like, that's the level of not okay that is. And, like, I know that logically, like, if someone else told me that, I'd be like, leave. But for me, for some reason, I thought it was my fault. And then the next morning, I ended up calling my parents and telling my parents. And they were like, you can never see him again. So I did end up ghosting him for like a few days. When you're in a cycle of abuse, it's like very addictive, right? So I ended up talking to him. And then a week later, we ended up blocking each other. It was like, this has to end right now. We ended up blocking each other. And I finally saw the pattern of abuse. Like, it was so hard to read because he was always taking, like, complete accountability. Just because someone takes accountability does not mean you should stay with them. Action over words every time. That's all I've got to say.
Let us know your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to subscribe.